Happy New Year's! Welcome to my first ever Wyrmcast. I've decided that to get my excitement out because I have a lot of it. It's a big anticipation day because tomorrow on New Year's Day I'm going to actually do my scouting for this Most Clan banner. And today I'm not doing that, but I have time and I decided that I would try something new. And I would try just talking about all of my thoughts about this because I think it'll be kind of easy. I have a lot of thoughts already about the art and the chibis and the characters and just generally I guess Dragalia as a year and I guess Hinamoto, because a year ago basically I had been playing Dragalia since the start, pretty much the first week I was there for the first event. And I guess I dabbled a little bit all the way through. It took till Christmas for me to kind of start feeling the groove, because that's when I decided to make elemental teams. And then right after that, the new event was Botan, the first time, not the summer rerun or the rerun from a week ago. And I thought Botan was really cute. And it was the first moment where I realized that I liked Dragalia a lot. And it kind of just got tucked in nicely into my brain. It was, the start of the year. It was a peaceful time before a pretty crazy year. And now I get to look back on it with a new spin on that event, because as I played up to basically seeing what the raid looks like today. I didn't finish the story, but I got enough of a sense of the story to talk about it and get a gist of who the characters are. Although I also previewed Chitose's character story, and it looked really good. It looked like this new vein we've kind of had of really high quality stories that kind of go off the beaten path of just talking to the prince about your feelings. It brought up this concept of cuteness diplomacy, which I'll talk about later, I suppose. If we truly get all my thoughts out there, I'll definitely talk about Chitose and cuteness. Because now we're at the point where a week ago on Christmas Eve I got home and watched the Dragalia Direct, and it'd kind of been a while since we got original content that wasn't a limb or a Christmas limb or the Mega Man event or anything. And November you had the remix of Kuga and Heinwald, which was really cool. And then you went right into Melsat, and then you went right into Mega Man, and then Christmas. So it really has been ever since the first anniversary lore thing with Audric and everything, which I unfortunately missed. I know it's probably extremely important and I'm probably fundamentally missing something, but I didn't play that very much. So yeah, I've got water. I've got a bunch of images to refer to that I'm going to actually put up as visuals, because I've decided that I'm talking about a visual thing. I'm not going to make you imagine everything I'm talking about, so I'll be looking at these video images and card arts. And the chibi videos I procured for you, I didn't record the 4 stars because I couldn't find Chitose, and I didn't think to record Hanabusa's chibi. But I'm gonna talk about the 5 stars chibis. I will actually show them. So hopefully I can watch them too. But I remember what I wanted to say about them. But what was the original tangent there? I guess my reason I played up, the reason I mentioned I played up to the raid was that this is a dark raid boss for light. It's a light event, and last year was the opposite. And spoilers, you fight the cat as the big raid boss, and it was really pretty. The stage is dark and purple, versus the gold that Shishimai was, but it's very pretty still, and it's very flipped. So I don't know if this is the one successor to the Ieyasu New Year's thing, because it almost feels like the counterpart, and I feel like it was designed in a lot of ways to sort of contrast with last year's event, because you have I just watched the story, I just read the story and listened to it. Even the voices are important. I just listened to the story, and the gang is basically expecting to be treated like they were last year, because last year is very serious Botan, especially in the localization, was really goofy and aggressive, but Ieyasu was never very goofy or anything, and his retainers were very serious, and they're very serious about feeding the Helenum gang. And this is pretty much the opposite, where you've got the gang getting ready for they know that there's a Hinamoto emissary coming to make them happy on New Year's Eve, but things just fall to shit, and only Chitose shows up, and they're blown away by him, and they go out to actually discover what happened to like the New Year's caravan, and that's where the adventure picks up. Misfortune has happened, and everything that Mitsuhide, right? Not Mitsuhime. She's not Mitsuhime. I'm scrolling for a second. She's Mitsuhide. Yeah, so she was in charge. Not the only clan leader involved, but she was in charge of bringing over the goodies this year. And a cat demon took it off the side of the road. Yeah, Mitsuhide in the gang. And that sets the tone. Nothing very serious happens in this event. They talk a little bit about the zodiac, which I appreciate. I read a book this semester at school. I just started learning Japanese, right? So we were doing a reading course, and the books I was reading were made for babies and children. And one of the books was about the zodiac, and it was like the reason that the cat isn't in the Chinese zodiac. And in that, I forget what animal, but one of the animals tricks the cat into being late. But the gist, I think in Japanese folklore, as they approach the Chinese zodiac, I don't understand completely how Japan interacts with the Chinese zodiac animals, but anyone who knows the Chinese zodiac, apparently it's kind of a joke that the cat, I guess, is like the 13th. They're sort of like the odd one out. It didn't get to be one of the 12 animals, basically. And I actually really appreciate just how mousy this whole thing is. The banner for this has mice all over it, and everything has mice all over it. I suppose that's where you start if you want to talk about any of these characters, because actually, well, I suppose now I can give myself the framework, right? So Mitsuhide, yeah, Mitsuhide is the mouse clan leader. She's the opposite of Ieyasu, where she sleeps, she looks like a child, she doesn't care about a lot of things. She seems very wise, though, which is a thing, which makes her very powerful. She as a character seems like if Anzu from Cinderella Girls, if she was the first character to be like she is, then she created a trope, because Mitsuhide, is that. But if Anzu is just the only character I know who's like a sleepy little toddler who likes to eat and stuff and is kind of like rude and sleepy, then that's whatever that trope is. But she's extremely that, and she has mouse woven right into her. She does, and Daikoku-ten does, and there's enough mice. Let me check the art. They've got mice everywhere in their art. Hanabusa doesn't really. I've got everybody's 5-star art. Yeah, he's just very traditional looking. Daikoku-ten, very sneaky, is extremely mouse flavored. There's like one mouse in Chitose's 5-star art, but it's really cute. I guess I'll start there actually, now that I have Chitose's 5-star art pulled up. So I almost didn't make this video because it was such a goddamn shock. I found out while reading the story that Chitose was a boy, and I was really put off by that. It's tricky from a trans point of view. When it comes to like gender flippy characters, there's a pretty unfortunate transphobic trend that I don't really have to tell you about, probably, where something looks very feminine but it's not, and it's like a joke basically that male characters would be attracted to something feminine but not a girl, which isn't great. And for the first like 20 seconds of Chitose's existence, it was he was extremely flirty, and we were all like kind of uncomfortable with him. All the Halidom people were like, what? And I was like, oh. But there's been a few examples this year. There was an N-Stars character who I will use she pronouns for because I have friends who have explained her to me. But it's a boy idol game that has what is seems to be a trans woman in it, and it seems like the first time I've ever seen a relatively decently executed trans woman in a game that actually attempts to explain the way that she relates to her gender, and she's actually a girl, and that it's a good thing for characters in her universe to see her as a girl. I do believe Arashi, I don't totally know her name, but N-Star's trans girl basically is my other point of reference for 2019 Japanese anime gacha trans characters. But the point of all of that is it's very hard to have something that comes off as empathetically as she's done. And I don't want to see that intersection of misogyny and transphobia and homophobia that goes into that anime trope of men being attracted to things that aren't women and feminine things not truly being women. And anyhow, the point with Chitose is I completely thought she was a girl. His art's really cute. I completely thought he was a girl. He uses boku. He uses boku, which is a gendered pronoun to refer to yourself. Boku wa chitose. It's really boyish. My Hero, if you don't know Boku, Boku no Hero Academia is like a really boyish title for My Hero Academia because the protagonist's like a young boy. Old dude calls him Deku Shonen. Shonen is like, it's the genre. It kind of means that the localizers for My Hero Academia were like young Katsuki, young Midoriya Shonen. It's like it's very boyish, obviously. So Boku no kind of pulls on that boyishness. So and yeah, I've seen older definitely transphobic gags and stuff like Crayon Shinchan. I mean, I don't know, that specific one just bugged me. I think that was actually a transvestite man who used atashi, which is kind of like a trendy young feminine pronoun. Like someone like Natalie in this game would use atashi. Garu would use atashi. It's kind of like a tougher thing in anime, but IRL it's kind of just like a cute young girl way to refer to yourself. So if Chitose was coming out with the atashis, it would be a gender thing. It would be sort of I would have wanted his stories to end addressing that and not treat him like a boy, but he doesn't. He uses boku, and he's definitely a cute boy. And what I really appreciate with Chitose is that it's not really about his gender at all. It's about the cuteness. And as soon as I read the preview for his story, because I don't actually have any of the new units besides Hanabusa, who I still have to max friendship, he's a cute boy. It's not about gender. He's just a very cute boy. So I'm like, it's been like a long 2 hours since I discovered he was even a boy. But to get down to the point, his art, right? It's very pink. And it's very, very good for that. The pink and the blue, when I first saw it, I didn't like totally know what to make of it. Like, oh, it's trans. I guess that doesn't matter anymore. It looks good because it's the trans flag. Pink and blue and white are the trans flag, if you don't know. And yeah, at first I was kind of like, who is this tacky fellow with the pink and blue? But it's really good. His eyes are incredible. I can flash his chibi, I believe. I don't have a video, but let me see if I can pull up the picture of his chibi, because his eyes are really good in his chibi. Yeah, not the image I have super much. You can only see like the pink, but they use the blue in there, and his story sprite is very pink and blue. It's very pretty. But yeah, this is the 5-star art. It gets these pink flourishes in the background where you've got like the transparent flower flags and a mouse looking on, and then also the mice that are like feeding themselves on like his jar of sweets and little like concoctions in the drawers. I don't know if this is like makeup or something, but he's got mice, and the color scheme of this card's really good. Side note, I didn't even know that I liked Dragalia card art till like halfway through this year. It's really good stuff. At first I was like, this will never be as good as like, you know, an idol card where it's like a big proper painting, almost like a big rectangle full of background and stuff. The way they kind of need to make the whole background be moving, I thought was going to be really jarring in this game, but it's really gorgeous actually, and the way that they use shapes and colors is really exciting, and I find that I'm always excited to see the promoted 5-star art of 4 stars. But I guess to critique his chibi a bit if I can. I haven't seen it very much, but I think his design would translate fine to a chibi. He's like normal sized, and the eyes are good. Yeah. Oh no, his his outfit's really cute in the chibi, isn't it? I like, you can really see the ribbon tied around his waist. Another thing I learned this year is that I really like traditional cards and sets and traditional style. I took a class back in the spring on the Heian era. We were reading Genji Monogatari and Heike Monogatari, the tale of Genji and the tale of the Heike, which are about the Heian era, which were like 700 or 800, like just before year 1000, and then a few hundred years after year 1000. It was an era in Japan that is pretty burned into their imagination, and I guess the cultural imagination, because I also saw the movie, what's her face? Kaguya Hime, Princess not Princess Mononoke. Princess Kaguya is the name of the Ghibli movie based on the Bamboo Cutter's Tale, which I'm assuming takes place in the Heian era, because everything about it is about the court and stuff. But why did I bring that up? I guess the fashionable court clothes then had 13 layers of clothes that women had to wear. Maybe all kimonos had 13, but a lot of layers basically went into the fashion then. And the hair was a big thing, but that doesn't matter much for Dragalia. But anyhow, the floral prints on the kimonos and like the bunches and bunches, if you see on his story sprite, you can see like there's a bunch of layers. There's like a red layer, a blue layer, a pink layer, and it's all wrapped up with like this dark purple or brown ribbon. And his chibi is really cute and flowy because it has all those different layers. The colors really do come out differently on the chibi. It's like a pastry or something. I don't know anything about the hat he's wearing, but it would have been a totally different story if it was just a bow. That might just be my eyes, but if there wasn't a hat, I would just see a bow and it'd be like, whoa, he's so cute. But the little hat almost makes me not see the bow. The bow looks like a flourish on the hat. And the hat doesn't make me feel anything necessarily. So if I critiqued him, I would give him just the bow and it'd be like, oh, he looks like a little baby. But oh my god, there's ribbons on his feet. Yeah, it's not a color scheme that immediately makes me like really warm, but the brown on like the lighter pink on his chest piece, like it's actually really, really pretty. So yeah. Oh, let me show the back. The ribbons look really, really good in 3D. The way they kind of come off his back, the ribbons are like the best thing. My favorite thing about all this layered clothing is you get these big ribbons, these big long sleeves. Sleeves were very erotic. Sleeves were extremely erotic in that older court era of Japan. Having long flowing sleeves was very evocative. He's definitely evocative. To move on, before I take another tangent, we can go to the other 4-star, who's another interesting man, Hanabusa. He's the free unit that you get. He's a light katana, which for some reason I didn't want when I was trying to think of what his weapon type was. But the only light katana I can think of, well, no, there's Yachio, who also has really pretty, like, traditional looking clothes. I'm quick to call everything a kimono, but that's because I don't completely understand what a kimono is. So she's dressed similarly to this, with open side and the bandages around her chest and big ribbons, if I'm picturing Yachio correctly. That doesn't actually have anything to do with being a light blade. The only light blade 5-star, I think, is Zarden, Beautician Zarden. So this is just like the third, and he doesn't actually, this is the one kit I don't know very well. I know Chitose is very good. I'm assuming I'm right about that, because the one thing I know about the Dragalia meta is 4-stars who can buff your attack a ton are extremely important. And I believe I saw the number 25 somewhere in his S1. I don't know if it's 25% like Gala Cleo level attack buff, or if it's 25 seconds of 15% attack buff. That's a long time to have your attack up, so I do believe he's the one thing that I will be disappointed if I don't get tomorrow, although I really am kind of greedy about this set. I have a lot saved up for tomorrow. I really, really want to go deep and try to get all of them. Anyhow, on that note, I don't actually know how Hanabusa plays, even though I've actually used him now. Hanabusa, first impression is just, oh, he's very refined, but as soon as you spend like a second with him, you realize he has really bad anxiety, which is endearing. But then they also went and gave him the like berserker mode trait that like Aileen has. Like it would have been a story spoiler, but when you use him in battle, he gets this like really insane looking face, And that's like a little bit too goofy for me, but I actually really liked him at first because he has like really custom facial expressions to show his anxiety, and she gets stomach pains from his anxiety, which I appreciate. So it's like he's kind of like a 3CPO where his anxiety is kind of played off as a joke, which is unfortunate. He's also very tall, like I guess 3CPO is. And he's a dancing person. Actually, you see like the petals coming off his fan and everything. Everything's kind of swirling with him. I think they could have gotten more dancing out of his design, or his card art at least. But the shoes he's wearing might have something to do with tap dancing. The heels on them. I don't know much about that, but he's a dancer. He's a very prominent dancer who has terrible anxiety and gives terrible performances because he practices a ton and then he gets anxious. And he also gets very anxious in battle. And he actually seems like a decent, down-to-earth person. He just has like a really, really crippling gag, which you kind of wouldn't expect, but I like it because if he was just as cool and collected as he looks, he'd be really boring. Like, I like Sazanka, but Addis didn't really stick with me very much of last year's retainers, because Ieyasu was very serious, and both his retainers were serious, and like, they didn't really like stick in my memory as characters because of that. But let's see what I think about his art. He gets a lot of purple. He gets these willow trees in the background, or these willowy trees whose species I don't know, and the purple pink kind of swirl around him comes out in the 5-star art. So definitely flowers. If Hanabusa is a flower, then he might have a branch of it on his back. There's a branch coming out of his... Oh, he has like a shield or something on the back. It looks like a shield in battle, but I'm wondering if it's not a drum or something. I don't really know. But, big fluffy pants, eh? He's got like leaves in the design almost down near his knees where they stop being fluffy. This might all be some part of dance from older Japan that I don't know about, but he's very purple. It's a very coherent art compared to Chitose, who's pink and blue, even though I'm trans and I love the flag. I don't always know what to make of pink and blue together, but purple with reds and stuff looks really good to me. And I guess that's a good tangent to the fact that I just really like this Hinamoto theme in general. Botan and Natalie are two of my favorite units, Natalie especially. And I don't think Natalie's actually Hinamotan. I don't think she is, but she was featured at the Yaten as festival planners during the first rerun of Hinamoto, Botan's Hinamoto, back in the summer. So I associate them with them, and she has like an older style of dress, and I love her. I love her sleeves. I love her huge pinwheel. I'm showing her chibi because it's wonderful. Her face is great. I just like girls like her, like the rebellious type. But Botan also I love a lot. I love her big sleeves. I love her colors, kind of like Hanabusa. She's like reds and purples, and like no matter how you mix it with the reds and purples and stuff, she just looks really good. So yeah, I have the Naginata cutie up there. She has her long socks. She has her little butterflies. The butterflies are pointy, and they kind of look like the bleed status thing, so I think that's wonderful prosody. I think they said that in there great. She's got her huge flower on her chest. Her dress might come from a different era that I don't know anything about, because it's not layered like the other ones. Like, I don't have a picture of Ieyasu, but I can picture him with like his big sleeves and like his court attire, because Botan's not actually part of the Hinamotan court. Ieyasu, I think, is the leader of all the Worm clans, which is a big deal and probably why he's so serious. But he's also the leader of the Boar clan, and they really didn't work boars into the design too much at all. And that's going to become a theme as I get to the 5 stars, because I don't remember boars on anybody besides, what's her face? Marcia 10, the dragon. Ieyasu has like an animal on his shoulder. Like, it almost looks like he's wearing a pelt, but I think this is part of his design. And that's similar to what they did with Nobunaga, but yeah, Botan is hard to place. Like, she doesn't quite look, she looks like of the era that Hinamoto is supposed to evoke. She looks like traditional, if I can generalize it, but she doesn't look like a courtesan at all. She's not very fluffy. Her sleeves are kind of free. She's got a lot of legs exposed, which is that's just not a historical thing. that I could ever fathom passing. But her chibi is also cute as shit, so I also included a little bit of it. You can see her bow and just how big her hair is. Yeah, I really appreciate those two, so that's kind of going into this. So next would be, in my mind, Nobunaga. I've got her only arc. She's actually a 5-star pulled up. I've got nobody to commentate with, so I just have to pace my voice and drink water. Yeah, so compared to Mitsuhide especially, she doesn't really represent horses great. She's the leader of the horse clan. So we got 2 clan leaders here, and it makes me wonder if the horse isn't like right before the boar, and Dragalia is like, well, we're definitely not going to last 12 years, maybe we'll last 11, so let's just throw 2 of the animals together. I don't know. It'd be hard to imagine 10 years of Hinamoto or 10 years of any gacha game, but they do have a good concept here and they can roll with it, but now they have 1 less year of surprising things because the horse clan's leader has already been shown. One thought I had is, my eyes got drawn in. She has a tiny horseshoe that doesn't stand out color-wise. It's a tiny gold horseshoe on her shoulder on a bow. So it barely stands out. But I think that black thing it's affixed to might be a saddle, or meant to look like a saddle, or a saddle from that era. So that might have been a really smart thing. I'm not a horse girl, so I don't really know what's meant to make me think horses. She's standing on a building, and there's like a beast's face of some kind on the, I want to call it the mast. It looks like a boat, but it's not. It's just the long thing she's standing on. It's not a horse. You could have put a horse there. And she's very fire themed, obviously. Pretty flames, pretty building. She doesn't stand out a ton to me in her art. I think she looks cool. I know a lot of my friends like her a lot. But where she actually does stand out is her chibi, is what I think. Let me see if I can pull it up for myself now. Okay, so I can't look at her chibi, but I'm showing you her chibi now. And from what I've seen of her chibi, I think she looks great. I think her hair is like very strong. It's suddenly one of the coolest parts of her design. Like it's big, it's prominent, it's very dark, which is extremely heian. And heian, I mean, it's kind of just the good thing I've learned about Japan is long dark hair is extremely prized. But her big black hair, I think, is very, like, I don't know, it makes me think about the past. It makes me think of, like, a courtesan. But she's kind of samurai themed with her long katana and her armor. I guess kind of like Botan. She doesn't look much like a courtesan, where I think Mitsuhide kind of does. But she is a warlord. I believe there's ribbons or something sticking out. Or maybe just her swords. There's other things that are kind of jutting out of her chibi that look really good. And her face is cute. There's like blush. Her face is actually really, really cute. So I'd say she has one of the strongest chibis, for sure. Aside from that, I don't have a ton to say about her. So I guess the semi-final battle would be Mitsuhide, who, like I said, like I've kind of just really been in love with this whole collection ever since I saw it. Like not for any specific reason. I'm really coming to appreciate Mitsuhide because she's really, really sleepy, and I appreciate that. And she just really, like, they went as crazy as they wanted to with the mouse thing, and I don't think it really overwhelmed her. Like, her and Daikokuten, I'll say a lot, like, really just bring out that theme of mouseness incredibly. Her chibi I'll show in a moment, like, literally just looks like a mouse from behind. But, despite being mousy, she doesn't necessarily, like, have to go crazy with the mousiness, and she kind of brings her own idea of mousiness out just by being herself. She's really sleepy and wise and kind of like a wretched Kanata Konoe, but mostly like Anzu from Cinderella Girls and maybe Taiga from Toradora, but she's more of a tsundere. She's just like small basically, and that's here. I'm not sure if one trope inspired the other, but she's little and she's feisty. She's best friends with Nobunaga, even though Nobunaga is much more aggressive and warlike and kind of one note from the story. I'm sure she has a good story on her own, but in the story she's kind of just like violence. But Mitsuhide is less predictable. She's lazy, but also very, very capable. And card art, it's really, really good card art. there's really, really nice Chitose colors, and actually Chitose himself is in the background, just kind of there. There's just like a decorative Chitose, and there's a building, kind of like the one in Nobunaga's art, in the background. That's a really nice like gold with like yellow, blue, pink, and peachy warm colors, and this confetti is all Chitose colors plus yellow, which are really good. She herself kind of has a lot of different colors going on, and I didn't really get that she meant to be very yellow until I saw her chibi. And she's also got pink hairs jutting out that are actually really hard to see too. There's like almost too much going on, but it makes it really fun to analyze her because she has little pink hairs jutting out of her gray hair, which is cool. I thought they'd be more prominent in her chibi, but they're not. And I thought there might be flowers on the back of her hair in her chibi, but there's not. It just looks like she's a mouse from her chibi, which might be amazing gameplay-wise. I haven't used her, obviously. But to control your character, you're mostly just seeing the back of their head. Like, I really like Orsem because he has nice blue hair. It kind of looks pretty to control him. She would literally look like piloting a mouse, if I'm not mistaken. And there are mice. There's little mice with fans, and they're eating and they're drinking. They're on the stairs behind wherever she is. I'm assuming this is like a bedroom. I see like a mirror. I see what I want to call a blanket. There's like a railing. I don't know. I'm assuming this is where she sleeps. It has like kind of a bedroom feeling. But as you go down these stairs that are wrapping around, oh my god, you've got mice in the decorations. You've got mice holding gifts. You've got mice eating and sleeping. There's a mouse. There's like a carpet underneath her feet, and there's a mouse under that with its little hands and is taking a nap. There's another one that's asleep behind her like yellow ribbon. It's incredible art. Her like, oh. Yeah, no, I'm kind of mistaken actually. I think I'm overselling how much they go into the robes and the kimono and stuff with these guys. Like, her shoulders are bare. She's got mostly, I mean, they might be her sleeves, these yellow and cream ribbons coming off. I don't have a picture of her chibi I can reference, but in the art they kind of weave these yellow I'll call them sleeves. Looks like they're coming off her wrists maybe. They're so nice. They flow into it. You've got a mouse in there. You've got the little petals floating around it. And she's got like little like fighter gloves, sort of. Her gloves look very active, which is shocking. Her leggings are yellow. She's got huge shoes. Little ribbons on her shoes, but not as cute as Chibi Chitose's ribbons on his shoes. The red gate feels very nostalgic in the way it does in Natalie's full card art. The red gate kind of places you in this olden era. But yeah, so it's mostly made out of black or purple, this whole little device. I don't really get how this color scheme works, but I really like it, and there's obviously a really happy mouse on her head. And her ears, she gets pulled by the ear a lot by Nobunaga in the story, and it seems to hurt her, but I don't think these are actually her ears. It's not impossible that she's actually a mouse race, but the fluff in them could be hers. But there's like those red and orange decorations in her ears that are really cool that I don't think you would want put in your actual ears. So I don't think this is a mouse race person. I might be wrong because her body's so little, like that almost could be like a thing if she's mouse race, but I don't think anybody said anything about her race. I don't think I think it's only been Serena who's kind of just brought in another race because she's like a dog. She's definitely not a Sylvan. So if she's a mouse person, she's like Serena, where she's the only one we know from her race, but I don't think she's that. I think these are decorative ears. I might be wrong. It'd be cute actually if she was like a mouse species, but then I would have rather we saw like more people from the mouse species race, not species, the mouse race in her retainers, which we didn't get because Chitose is definitely not a mouse. He's just a man. So yeah, I think her art's great, and her character is pretty cute too, but playstyle wise, she was just exactly what I could have asked for, because I just like knives. I mostly have fire and dark units, but I also like light. Fleur is obviously really nice, and Fleur is about to be put into joblessness by her, but her whole kit is just about slashing, and as you slash, you inflict paralysis, and slash more, and then do more damage with the paralysis, and that's what Daikokuten's built around, and I think I would have so much fun playing that, because I just like playing knives and slashing and stuff. So to see a girl who can give her own paralysis and buff herself and get a dragon that does even more of that buffing would just be so fun, because all of her combo related stuff, they've kind of learned like caps at 30. Because like with Christmas Cleo, you need like 35 to get started with the energy, and it takes a while to get there. So she's one of the first person I've seen who can get a combo really quickly and get benefited from it really quickly. I haven't seen much meta talk, but she's good to me. She seems like a well-made unit to me. And I've been distracted actually, and I haven't mentioned nearly enough the fact that I like this older style because of the flowers in everybody's hair. And the little flowers on her ear and on her head are big sellers. There's the little blue ones and the little pink ones, and they're so nice in the hair, like botons. You've seen many flowers in hair. I think that kind of brings it all together, not from a combat standpoint, but from what I'm talking about for my purposes. Yeah, I still don't think I can look at her chibi myself though. I don't think my image is loaded yet. Oh no, it has. Yeah. So she has a funny she looks like Leon from the new Pokemon to me. Her hair doesn't look the same in 3D. It looks messy. It looks like his hair. And she looks too determined and awake and adult. Her face just didn't translate at all in this chibi. Her little yellow sleeves translated. Oh, there's like the purple ribbon in her front. That looks really cute. And the ears are really cute. And she's got her flower, which translates really well right on her forehead. But you can't really notice the hair. The pink hairs, like I mentioned, they're a cool idea. Especially the little ahoge up on the top. But you don't notice them a ton from what I see. Yeah, she just is like she's just too tall. Like I wouldn't have been mad if they made like a smaller chibi just for her. Like it doesn't really look like her that much. Side note. Okay, while I'm scrolling through my pictures before we go on, there were, I think, new sceneries made for this. Again, all takes place in a marshland, but not the usual marshland. And the sunset ones especially caught my eye. There's like this sunset overlook going up to like ruins or something with a tree, and there's like dueling peaks out in the back and little ruins and flowers, and it is so nice. It is so pretty, and I don't think I've seen it before. And then there's like a sunset over a lake with flowers, and there's mountains, and the only screenshot I had a transparent of Luca on it, so we're gonna pretend that Luca has passed away and we are mourning him while looking at this. But God, yeah, Dragalia nature art is very important and makes me wish every day that there was an anime. Not an impossible wish, I don't think. So for the grand finale, I will describe Daikokuten, who is the soul-bound dragon to Mitsuhide. He is one of the 12. I think they're just called the 12. They're either the 12 worms or the 12 clan worms that go with the 12 worm clans, but they are the zodiac dragons that are inherited to the leader of each clan, and he is the mouse one, and I think he is the best shit that's ever happened. He's really fluffy, and he's about mochi while also being about mice, and it is incredible. Like, there's like the little mouse on his little pom-pom that like wants the sunflower seed, and he's just fluffy himself, which gets you thinking about mostly mochi. But like, no one ever went out and told me like mice were fluffy or sleepy things, but you see him on, these two people, and it just suddenly feels like such a sleepy thing. And the effects, like the pink energy sort of coming off them, is just incredible in the art. Just the little like, it's just so pretty with the white and the red and the gold and the black and stuff. Just, it's a really one of my favorite pieces of just like art, like base art. His like shoes look drippy, like they're kind of symmetrical, but like the way that the gold circle falls off the gold like top looks normal, but also kind of like it's dripping, which is so like there's so much synergy. And I'll show the chibi, or I suppose the 3D model. It's not much of a chibi, and it's amazing. As you'll see as he rotates, he's got like the balls kind of just coming off the coat, which just kind of feels like mochi without really hitting you on the head about it. And it reminds me of Milcery from Pokemon, which is another really good example of just kind of like a cream dessert Pokemon thing. But the ears are just so there and mousy, and then you see the tail and you're like, oh, it's a big mouse. Like, you don't have to be covered in mice to be a mouse dragon. And you don't have to just be a mouse or just be a mochi dragon. You can be a mouse mochi dragon. And Daikoku-ten has come here to prove that. There's a lot of moving parts. There's the spinning mallet. There's like the flappy wings underneath the coat. There's a lot of layers. He's just so like, gosh, he's so cute. There's a lot of power that comes from the full art, the pink energy and stuff like I mentioned. But I'll also put up the reveal for him because that kind of brings out his like in-text sprite basically, where you realize that he has these big hands and he's just so cute, and like somehow zooming in brings out this whole other portion. And his face itself is really neat. They have like this symmetrical makeup over the eyes, over like the eyelashes on him and Ebisu that looks really sharp. I guess he's even got like messy hair, but it's kind of symmetrical with like these horns that don't, you don't need horns for a mouse, but they're kind of just nestled in there, and all the gold and all the red and all the layers. Oh god, and there's even little gold balls on top of like his puffy scarf or whatever, right around his neck. And like the short white hair that goes to red, the red eyes, the red makeup, like, oh my gosh. It's just, I don't even quite have the words for it. I think this is just one of the best pieces of art ever. I want to get many copies of him tomorrow. But that's basically it. That's basically my whole agenda. As far as usefulness, I like how Daikoku-ten is made to work with Mitsuhide, and that's just about my thought. It looks like what's his face, Chitose is going to be a really big deal for buffing, because there's been a lot of like 4 stars with really, really good attack buffs like Noelle. Looks like Light finally got that. I guess it was just a matter of time. I'm assuming Hanabusa is less good to balance things. I don't exactly know what kind of woman Nobunaga is, except for the fact that she doesn't burn and she isn't based on crits, so she's not exactly like Reina or Mikoto. She has like her own thing I don't quite understand, which is good because she's another flame blade. But I'll probably explode if I talk anymore. Those are my thoughts on the Mouse Clan. I think they're great. These are just my initial thoughts. I'm excited to actually get these cards and like finish their story, read their personal stories, use them. I hope that I've expressed how much detail I think goes into the Hinamoto set. They're kind of famous. I mean, the bleed that the last year the Boar clan was able to create, the bleeding Boar clan, was extremely useful meta-wise for a long time. And their limb, which makes them exciting. They don't necessarily seem to have a reason to be limb, but they are, because I guess they're New Year's. But I think it's so cool that they've expanded on this tradition now and sort of flipped the theme to make it the dark version. Like I said, sort of the contrast of Shishimai and Ebisu with the light and the dark stage almost makes me feel like we're just getting 2. But you could do this forever. You could just keep bringing in different clans, because you're always going to be showing off like the traditional Japanese fashion that's popular during New Year's, because it's kind of a New Year's thing, I guess, to wear kimonos. So you're always able to bring in that Japanese influence every year with the Hinamoto set. And there's something just so fun about having the emissaries come from afar and having their whole theme. And the theme is really strong here. Like I said, Chitose and Hanabusa can kind of live their own lives without the miciness, but they really nailed the mouse concept with the 2 5-stars, Daikoku-ten and Mitsuhide. Yeah, in a way that wasn't necessarily there for last year, and it makes me hope that it actually does become a yearly thing, because I'll never get tired of this now. If they're going to keep having like really inspired ways to bring in these adorable critters and get me excited about the Chinese New Year, then you can do that forever. Aside from that, gosh, I think we're just in a very, very good era of Dragalia. The stories are getting more and more interesting. I think these are going to be really good stories, so I'm glad this happened at the time that it did. But now I'm at a point where I feel like the art's at a really, really good point. Like, I've seen games get sloppy with their art, and that's not what Dragalia Lost is doing. There's a lot of work that went into this, and even if Nobunaga is sort of vanilla, she's kind of the only vanilla one in the pack, and there's 2 5-stars, So it was a lot of love to give us for New Year's, and the first batch of original characters in a long time. I guess I don't want them to be shy about making alts for the Hinamoto characters now, or include them in other ways, because it's a little bit sad only seeing them once a year. But now we've got 4 more folks and 1 more dragon, 5 more original characters in the universe, and tomorrow I'm gonna go absolutely ham scouting, so look forward to that. And thank you for listening. Happy New Year.